And howdy do, how are you? I have an old standby here today I'm drinking. It's the Springfield Brewing Company's Paul's Pale Ale. Now this runs $8 even. You can buy 6 packs at the brewery, the brew pub. It's one of the few brew pubs that I know of that doesn't do growlers. They never have, but they do sell some of their beers, not all of them, in 6 packs. This is Paul's Pale Ale. This is a beer they've brewed since they opened. Oh, well, son of a gun. You see that? I spilled everywhere. Well, holy Moses. So anyway, as I got sidetracked, it's a beer they brewed. Let me show you that beer. It's very pretty. Nice, I don't know what you call that, a deep amber, maybe? Anyways. They brewed this since '98. They did have a management change, or an ownership change, actually. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 years ago now. Before that, it was just called their Pale Ale. They renamed some of their beers and put some of them out in 6 packs for stores. Before that, you had to go to the brewery to buy it, or the brew pub, rather. Again, they run $8 even there. I did have a store in town that had this for $6.97, so it's a great beer for $7 a 6. Oh, nice. If I have a complaint against Springfield Brewing Company, and I'm not gonna grind on it long, but the gripe is that on their website they don't give a lot of beer information. They've got a paragraph about the beer, but they don't tell me malts or hops used, and they don't tell me well, mostly they don't give me ABV or IBUs, and that kind of bothers me. But that aside, it's a fine beer. They do tell you a little bit about the beer. They do expect some nuttiness, some caramel, and then a nice crisp hop finish. You do get all of that. It is a fine beer. It may not be beer geeky for some. Beer geeky enough for some, I should say. And what I mean by that is that it's just not crazy over the top. They call it a West Coast style pale ale. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But after looking at it and tasting it, I'd say with a tip and a nod to classic British pale ales. Meaning it is malt forward. There is some bitterness in the end, but it's not overly bitter. But there is enough to leave you with a beautiful, crisp finish. It is a little nutty at first. You do get some caramel and toffee. It's just a nice beer. It is one of those beers that I like to drink when I don't want to spend a lot of money for one, but when I just want something I don't really have to think about. When I don't want to do the whole pretentious, craft beer bit where I gotta do this, and if I just want to relax and drink a few, this is a perfect beer because it does give you great flavor. It lets you relax without being over the top in any one direction. It's just a nice, easy drinking beer, which is why, probably why it's their flagship beer. They don't exactly call it their flagship beer, but they do say it's their most popular beer, so I'm going to assume and call it their flagship beer, because it is a beer that it is known for. And, it is a beer that I recommend, as a gateway craft beer. When I know I have friends kind of dipping their toe in the water, so to speak, trying different things, and they want to know a good pale ale to get their feet wet, so to speak, this is one I recommend because excuse me, goodness gracious, not because it lacks anything, because a lot of times when we say gateway beers, what we mean is something small in the category. And I don't mean that, but what I mean is this is so impeccably balanced. It gives you a good representation of a classic pale ale. And again, not one that's over the top one direction or the other. And that's what I mean by that. That's why this would be a great gateway pale ale, because it does feel like a classic representation. It is a beer that does everything right. Whew, very nice. So anyway, I won't run long. I just wanted to give you another look at Springfield Brewing Company. This is a nice brew pub in Springfield, Missouri. And this is a fine beer. The beers I have in 6 packs all run for $8 at the brewery. Certainly not over the top. And I found this one at a local store for $7. So there you go. I'm Tony the Beer Whisperer. I got to get back.